think we're ready to start then. We'll call policy and curriculum to order by starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay,
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item we have is the elementary music concert grade sequence. So welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening, Barb.
Um,
This is Barb Canales, general music teacher for 30 years in the school district. And,
She started when she was 10.
yeah.
so she's actually taught at all 3 schools, and this year she's at Woodfield. So,
And the old Mapleview and the Rochester, I've hit them all.
so Barb wants to talk to the group about changing the concert configuration, grade level configuration for the elementary schools. So,
And I look back, and in 2008, we changed it to a 2-4-6. And before that, it was kind of a hodgepodge of different things. It wasn't consistent. So now that we've done the 2-4-6 during the day and the band and chorus concerts at night, we see some things that we'd like to change and have it at a December concert of 4, 5, and 6. So that's changing the 5th grade out of it because it's been 2-4-6. But during the day, it's been 2-4-6 and the band and chorus only at night. We'd like to do 4, 5, and 6 for a couple reasons. And one of the big reasons is that most of the 5th graders and half of the 6th graders come back at night anyhow because they're in either chorus or band. And we'd also like to add the orchestra concert to that piece too.
For an evening.
For the evening. So in the evening, actually it would be almost the same during the day and the evening, except for during the day we probably wouldn't have the band, and depending on which school the orchestra teacher was in that day, whether she would play during the day. But we would have the 4th, the 5th, the 6th general students singing, as well as the chorus students. The same thing would happen at night, except for then we would add the band piece. The band piece can only be added easily if that band teacher happens to be in the school during the day, on that particular day. That's why we've been just kind of leaving that out during the day. And I crunched some numbers as far as how many students that would involve coming back for parking reasons and space reasons. And what we've been doing with 2, 4, and 6 involved 170 students. 4, 5, and 6 this year would be 167 students. So there's really no change. The same thing if we do the 4, 5, 6 in the December concert, the 1, 2, and 3 at the springtime would be 171, and it's been 168. So the numbers really didn't change. It's just a matter of who was performing at what time. So besides the fact that, whatever my number is, I have it here somewhere. 43 out of 50, and these are Woodfield numbers. That's what I have. 43 out of the 54 5th graders would come back in the evening anyhow for either band or chorus or both. I don't have 2 slips back. About half of the 6th graders come back at night because 31 out of the 57, and I don't have 10 slips back from the 6th graders. But so we're talking a big chunk come back in at night anyhow. So we would add that 4th grade piece into it. So now the orchestra can perform, and we're not asking them to come to a separate night or a separate school. They can perform in their home school. And it also gives a chance for the 4th graders to see the band, which I know at the Trailside building and usually the Woodfield building doesn't walk over for the band concert. So the kids aren't even seeing their own school bands perform. And this way, the fourth graders, which are the ones that would be recruited in the spring, would be seeing it at least in the evening, even if they didn't play during the afternoon. Then that also brings us to the issue of why we changed it in '08. When we changed it to 2-4-6, we just did it during the daytime, and we didn't have 2-4-6 perform at nighttime. So some of the parents weren't happy with that. So we made the compromise of putting it on the web, which, when we've looked into it further, we shouldn't be doing, without written permission from each and every composer, publisher of each and every piece, which was never done in the past, and I think would be a huge undertaking, and sometimes there's fees involved with it. So I would say that that's a thing we shouldn't be doing. And if we have the kids 4, 5, and 6 generals during the day and at night, then the additional piece at night is just a bonus. It's not preventing somebody from coming to see their kids. And then 1, 2, and 3 in the spring is not asking the little kids to stay out late in December, which is harder than by springtime when the time has changed and starts to stay late or light later and things like that. Let's see, what else? Oh, for 5th grade, we always have, in the spring when we've had 1, 3, and 5, we always have an issue with the 5th grade boys wanting to play baseball over their concert. And even though Mr. Yoke's gone and talked to some of the league in charge people, we are still having an issue at all the buildings. It's not just one building or another. And I know, my son did though too, but some parents aren't willing to work it out. They just choose one or the other. And that is a concern. So I guess I'm asking if you have any questions, if we can do this. Do we need any more discussion?
Would band, of course, and orchestra participate in spring at all, or just the winter?
The band in the spring does a combined concert. So they take all the elementary schools together for one concert. And the chorus would still perform in the 1, 2, 3 concert.
Okay.
So they're still performing twice. And then the orchestra would do a combined also at the beginning of June like they did last year.
Sounds good.
There's one more component that I wasn't sure if I was going to add or not. In 5th and 6th grade, general music only meets once a week.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have choices for chorus and band. So general music only meets once a week right now. With the current configuration, our 5th graders, grades 1 through 5, go in the spring. So think of yourself as a 5th grader. You're a 5th grader. So in the spring, you go to music once a week. Because you're only going once a week in the spring, Mrs. Canal spends a large majority of that spring time preparing for the spring program because they only meet once a week. Then, as a 5th grader, now if it's summer, you become a 6th grader. Now you can perform in the fall. 2, 4, 6 performers in the fall. So now as a 5th grader, now you're in 6th grade. Again, in the fall, you meet once a week. So you spend a large majority of your fall preparing for the winter program. So from spring of your 5th grade year all the way through winter of your 6th grade year, all you're really kind of doing in music class is preparing for a program. She has a hard time teaching the foundations and the elements of music because of that configuration. That was another, that's another component of it. Whereas now with, you kind of have the same thing now with, if she switches it to 1, 2, 3 in the spring, 4, 5, 6 in the fall. If you're a 3rd grader, it'd be the same thing, except in 3rd grade and 4th grade, they meet twice a week. Music is twice a week. So even though as a 3rd grader, you're preparing for the program in the spring, and then as a 4th grader in the fall, having music twice a week, you don't have to start preparing that early because they do meet twice a week. And so program preparation doesn't take as long. They can teach more of the elements.
And even after, and that's first on my list, I guess I skipped just that.
Well, I didn't want to jump on your presentation,
Yep,
but
no, I just kind
I
of
thought
skipped down. And even after the concert, like 5th grade once a week, by the time the concert's done, 2nd, 3rd week of May, and then we see them once again for sure for a concert reflection and wrap-up kind of thing. Sometimes we see them once more after that, and like last year I didn't see one of the classes again because it was a field trip day and then it was the end of school because it's only once a week. Where with the 2 times a week, that really gives you more time. So yes, sorry, and thank you. And with that said too, we kind of would like a decision quickly because we're getting antsy to start with the 5th and 6th grade.
So you discussed this with the building principals?
Not Mr. Maltoff specifically, I don't know.
But he's heard the discussion.
He's heard the discussion from at the admin table.
Does anybody have any negatives to this plan?
I'm in support of it, as I think you've heard.
And I asked Barb just today about numbers, what that would mean in terms of parking, and she calculated that all out, so thanks Barb for doing that, and yeah, numbers seem about the same, so.
And band and orchestra have been in on Fine with that.
Yep, we talked about it at the end of June at our last day of in-service meeting.
The piece that, going back 5 years, 2008, when we made changes to the concert schedule at that point, there were some parents that were upset that we had changed the sequence of concerts at that point, because some families really enjoy having the younger ones at the holiday concert in December. And so if there's a minus or a drawback that you need to be aware of, I would sense that might be something a little bit sensitive, just based on 5 years ago, when we made the change then.
And I'm thinking it wasn't so much that it was the young ones at the Christmas time, but they couldn't get there because it was during the day only.
That was
Right,
part of it
right,
too.
too.
I agree. I agree. So,
I don't have any concerns.
Sounds like an improvement.
Mhm.
So I would move that at the meeting, at our next meeting, we would approve this. Can you submit it in written form for us to?
With all the reasons or just the?
No,
just the
just the
reasons?
stats.
Yep.
so it'll be a board action item in 2 weeks.
So it wouldn't be approved until the following month?
No, it'll be approved in 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm just looking at time.
Well,
Like
but is it safe to assume, based on the discussion that I'm hearing, you can start, probably get your mind gearing that the change is gonna be approved, because I'm hearing from the board members that they're thinking it's an
Not
improvement.
5.
Yeah.
Right, but it won't be official for 2 weeks.
Okay, right. Right, thank you.
Thanks, Bart.
Thank you.